Good afternoon and welcome to Matador News. I'm Shelby Thompson.
And I'm Gladys Amezcua.
California gave last-minute health insurance scrambles until April 15th to enroll. The deadline was supposed to be Monday, but the website couldn't handle the traffic or call volumes. Customers now have until April 15th to get covered. However, last-minute applicants can no longer sign up online. New enrollees must go through either Covered California's call center, an enrollment counselor, insurance agents, or county office to receive coverage.
The Senate has voted and sent to President Obama legislation that prevents doctors who treat Medicare patients from being hit with 24% cut. The Senate's 64-35 vote delays the cuts for a year. The measure also extended dozens of other expiring health care provisions.
The 5.1 magnitude LA Cabrera earthquake dominated several media this weekend. The first signs of damage came from residents posting photos on Facebook of dishes and fallen cabinets. Brea police announced a rock slide that flipped a car via Twitter. Disneyland announced on Twitter that its rides were closed. Seismologists say they need a bigger presence in social media in this era of the mobile web. Valley View Melissa Trahan has reported on earthquake safety.
One of the most essential elements of being prepared is having an emergency preparedness kit. The Los Angeles Fire Department recommends having enough supplies to last at least 72 hours.
People automatically assume that somebody else is going to take care of that for them, which again, like I said, don't count on seeing the fire department, so we train people, this is how you do this stuff yourself.
The LAFD offers a community emergency response team program where people can learn medical approaches post-earthquakes.
It's usually one night a week for 2 to 2.5 hours long for a 7-week span, but we cover so much in it, basically that gets everybody prepared for everything.
I train people how to use fire extinguishers, how to do the minor medical stuff like Kurt was talking about, even how to do search and rescue.
Margaret Noji, Emergency Preparedness Coordinator at St. Cyril Catholic School, says students know just what to do.
The students get under their desks and make sure that their head and neck is under and their spine if possible, and if they can get their entire bodies under, that's ideal.
April is this year's Earthquake Preparedness Month. People can go to any fire station in the Los Angeles area to find out more about upcoming events that will make them more aware and educated in case of any natural disaster. In Sherman Oaks, I'm Melissa Trahan reporting for Valley View News.
General Motors is setting aside $750 million for repairs of nearly 5 million recalled vehicles. GM will use the money to fix faulty power steering systems, oil leaks, fractured axle shafts. Several models have defective ignition switch that linked from 13 deaths. GM Chief Executive Mary Barra will testify before a congressional panel on why the automaker waited years before reporting
Clearly, the fact that it took over 10 years indicates that we have work to do to improve our process.
The company began recalls in February. GM is set to recall the addition 1.3 million vehicles in the U.S. and 200,000 more abroad.
Students from the CSUN Engineering Department are getting a gear and getting ready for an upcoming racing season. Senior students from the department work on a race car all year. Students, with the help of their professors, design and build the race car as one of their final projects. With the upcoming racing season beginning in May, they are doing final prep on the car. Mihkel Teemant is live with a member of the Matador Motorsports team.
I'm here with Ryan Camire with the Matador Motorsports team with the Mechanical Engineering Department. Ryan, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, happy to be here.
Describe what Matador Motorsports is and how it works within the engineering department.
Well, what Matador Motorsports is essentially the mechanical engineering team that competes in the Formula SAE competition every year. Now what that is, it's a huge design competition. There's actually 2 events, one in Detroit, Michigan, and another one in Lincoln, Nebraska, so that everybody in North America can attend to it. And what happens is we spend over a year designing a car from the ground up and taking it there, and it has to meet all sorts of rules and regulations, and it's supposed to be basically like you're mocking a grassroots motorsports firm. And that's what we do. So it's essentially, but this club is unique because it can also be used as a senior design project. Now what that is every engineering major has to do some kind of capstone engineering design project for at least a year. So ours is essentially a club that produces cars, but we can also, but even if you're not an engineering major, you can still help us out. So that's basically what we do. And it serves as basically one of the mechanical engineering and senior design projects, but it's also a club.
Oh, okay. And how much planning and preparation is needed in order for the team to finish the car and get going?
We started last spring semester is when we did our preliminary design work. So that's when we decided what kind of components we go with on a car, like differential versus spool, what kind of tires. I won't go into too much details, but things like that. And then throughout spring is when we started to basically organize and get everything together. So when we hit the ground running in fall, we can really start harsh design work and get the thing done as quickly as possible, because it takes a very long time to build these cars.
Awesome. And the latest recall of GM cars has caused over 1.3 million cars to be recalled. What type of skills do you learn in the classes, in the mechanical engineering classes, that help prevent these kinds of problems from happening, especially when you only have one car that you can design?
Well, CSUN has a handful of senior elective classes that are somewhat unique from other nearby engineering programs. We have a class in geometric dimensioning and tolerancing, a machine design for manufacturing, and advanced machine design. Now, what happens with these cars that get recalled is a lot of times these parts get fatigued. So as they're used over and over again, they become less strong, and that's when things break and people get hurt and die. Well, manufacturing these parts correctly is often something that many mechanical engineering students leave their school with a degree, but don't really know how it's done. So CSUN has done a much better job of getting us ready, going from design to actually making stuff work safely.
Okay, the Matador Motorsports team will take its first test run on April 19th in parking lot G3, southeast of the SRC. Thank you, Ryan, for joining us. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you.
A CSUN alumnus was honored at a ceremony for the newly named David Nazarian College of Business and Economics. David Nazarian, who received his bachelor's degree in economics from CSUN in 1982, donated $10 million to the college. Nazarian also agreed to lead a campaign to raise an additional $15 million for the campus. During the ceremony, Nazarian was presented with a miniature model of the Matador statue located on campus. He was also recognized by the City of Los Angeles for his philanthropic work.
Student elections polls opened this morning here at CSUN. Students can now vote in person or via their Gmail accounts. The two candidates running for president are seniors Tiffany Zeich and Jesus Martinez. Students will also have the opportunity to vote for vice president candidates and for upper division senators. Polling stations are available at Matador Square, Arbor Grill, or the Matador Bookstore. Polls will close tomorrow at 6 p.m.
Higher numbers of students are applying for financial aid in California. The U.S. Department of Education says there has been 74% increase in aid application in the past 6 years. Students applying for aid range from high school seniors to doctoral candidates. CSUN's financial aid office says 60% of students receive some sort of financial aid. The office has workshops to help students fill out their applications.
A new report details an alarming racial gap among U.S. children. In every region across America, the report shows white and Asian children are far better positioned for success than Black, Latino, and American Indian children. The report argued intensive efforts to collect and analyze race-specific data on child well-being that could be used to develop programs capable of bridging the racial gap. It said special emphasis should be placed on expanding job opportunities for the children in the disadvantaged groups enter adulthood.
The superintendent of a small Centinela Valley Union High School district has made more money than any other school superintendent in the state. Superintendent Jose Fernandez's South Bay School District has under 7,000 students, five schools, and $70 million budget. Fernandez makes nearly $675,000 a year. In contrast, LA School Superintendent John Deasy, who supervises 500,000 students and 1,000 schools, earns $393,000 a year.
The CSUN Police Department is investigating several thefts that occurred on campus last month. One suspect stole a cell phone from the USU computer lab in parking lot B5. Two different suspects broke into vehicles stealing the personal belongings. Meanwhile, an unknown suspect egged two vehicles near the university parking apartments.
And now over to sports with Precious Allen.
The CSUN baseball team beat Long Beach State 6-5 this past weekend. The Matadors improved their record to 6-12 and 16 on the year. CSUN pitcher John Salas was credited with the win. Overall, the Matadors beat the Long Beach State 1 out of 3 games in the weekend series that opened the Big West Conference season. The Matadors' next game will be UC Riverside on April 4th. The road ends next weekend in Dallas for the final 4 teams in the NCAA Men's Basketball Championship Tournament. The first game, Saturday, will feature Florida against Connecticut. Then Wisconsin will face Kentucky. The games will be held at AT&T Stadium, and the championship game will be played on Monday. The Angels season opener got off to a bad start. Before the game, Don Baylor, the team's hitting coach, broke his right ankle while catching the ceremonial first pitch from Vladimir Guerrero and had to be carried off the Angel Stadium field. Guerrero's pitch was low and away, and Baylor made a lunging backhand grab. Baylor turned his right ankle in the process and was unable to get up. He was taken to UCI Medical Center, where it was confirmed that he had fractured his right femur. Baylor is scheduled to undergo surgery later today, and to add to the misery, the Angels lost 10-3 to the Seattle Mariners. And that's all for sports. Back to you, Shelby.
A fight between Dodgers and Angels fans broke out in downtown Huntington Beach, leaving 3 Marines injured. Officers said the incident apparently began when a woman wearing an Angels jersey got into a fight with 2 people talking about the Dodgers. 3 Marines were left trying to help the woman in the Angels jersey when they were attacked and stabbed. 6 people were arrested after officers stopped the dispute. Police are still trying to piece together what triggered the violence.
Hundreds of activists gathered in front of the Turkish consulate in LA to protest Turkey's role in recent attacks against civilians in Syria. The Armenian Youth Federation helped organize the protest. Protesters urged President Obama to condemn Turkey's actions.
An outbreak of Ebola fever has spread the West African and Guinea's capital. Ebola spread to the blood and stunts down the immune system, causing high fever, headache, pain, and death. A total of 122 patients are suspected of contracting Ebola, and 78 have died.
The threat from global warming keeps rising. The latest report from the UN says the warming would increase poverty worldwide. It also says low-lying coastal zones are at risk to rising sea levels. The report re-emphasized that there is 95% probability global warming is man-made. It says the governments must cut greenhouse gases.
The Los Angeles City Council is poised to approve a transformation of garbage collecting later today. Officials say the change will keep more garbage out of landfills, cut down truck traffic, and make the industry safer for workers. Environmental and labor groups say the plan will make it easier for LA to meet its goal of keeping 90% of its waste out of the landfills. The system would take effect by the start of 2017.
Matador's a week long term is coming our way. April Fools. Today's high will be 64 degrees and expect showers tonight with a low of 50.
Fans of The Voice have a reason to be happy for the remaining part of the season. NBC tweeted confirmation that Pharrell Williams will be joining the show as coach for the reality singing competition. The tweet read, "Okay, we can have officially say it. We are so happy to announce Pharrell Williams as new voice coach for season 7. Williams will replace CeeLo Green. It's been a huge year for Pharrell for his Oscar nomination song, Oh Happy Oh."
CBS sitcom How I Met Your Mother ends its run on television with high ratings. The 9-year-old sitcom averaged nearly 13 million viewers in its final episode. The farewell program was easily the highest rated show of the night in the 1849 category that was second in overall viewing to ABC's Dancing with the Stars. Fans and critics praised How I Met Your Mother for sophisticated storytelling.
Disney Animation Studios' Frozen has become the highest-grossing animated film of all time. The film has grossed more than $1 billion internationally. Frozen dethroned the previous record holder Disney Pixar's Toy Story 3. Frozen won 2 Academy Awards. It sold 3.2 million copies on DVDs and Blu-rays during its U.S. release on March 18th. The film in its first billion-dollar movie produced by Disney Animation Studios. That's all there is today for Matador News. I'm Shelby Thompson.
And I'm Gladys Amezcua.
Have a great week.